All right, hey everybody, Daniela here. I have been getting lots and lots of questions about our move to Israel, how it's going, conversion, lots of different questions. So I want to do a quick video and just do an update. So this will be also for friends and family that are wondering how we're doing on the other side of the world. So I just wanted to say, first and foremost, I love Israel. I am a very, very, very American girl, and I adore Israel, and I have always wanted to be here. So a couple people asked me, had I been to Israel before I made the move? And so the answer is that I had visited for one short period of time, one time, hadn't seen most of Israel when I made the decision to come, and we ended up moving to Israel. So now that we're here, how is it going? So obviously I am in the Middle East. I am in a completely different country. I am not fluent in Hebrew. So how is all of that going? So we arrived here very unexpectedly. We made a very unexpected move, and so now we're here. We are in the north in Israel. We're in a small town, beautiful, beautiful small town. So life has changed drastically. So I'll talk about a couple things that have changed, and it's probably as dramatic as it's been and different. It's probably my absolute favorite. Hey Nina, I am going live for you. Nina asked me a couple questions, so I figured I'd get them all out on this live video all at once for everyone, because I get them a lot. So since arriving in Israel, I'm happy. There's no other way to explain it. Israel is amazing. It is a completely different lifestyle, so it is an adjustment. I am not in America anymore, that's for sure. We do not have a car. Everywhere we go, we walk. We carry our groceries home and back. We are completely different lifestyle. So we live up in the mountains, and so there is lots of climbing and hiking and stairs. There are amazing tzaddikim and kevers everywhere all around us, so I am able to travel and see archaeology and amazing sites about the Jewish history. So I can't explain to anybody how much I love it. So a couple things that are very different, and it's one of the reasons that I believe I've made the right decision to make Aliyah, is in America, we are so consumed with materialism, keeping up with everyone. Everyone has to have the best this and the best that and a better car and a nicer house and a prettier Shabbat table. And in Israel, I feel completely free of that. Everybody here is like completely just they're them. People eat on, in plastic folding chairs at their Shabbat tables. Everything is very, very modest. Everything is about spirituality, and it is such a simpler life. My children run and play outside. None of their friends have televisions. None of their friends are watching TV. None of their friends have video games. It's an amazing, pure experience for us to be here and to be in the Holy Land. It is so incredibly wonderful. So a couple people asked me, how does it feel as a convert to be here? So I personally converted in America. That answers your question, Nina. I converted while still in America. I did go to a Rabbanut recognized Beit Din, an amazing one. The Av Beit Din is Rav Eliyahu ben Chaim. It is in Queens, New York, Flushing. So that is who I went through. It's very, very important for anybody who does have plans to make Aliyah or wants to make Aliyah that they ensure that their conversion is recognized by the state of Israel and by the Jewish Agency and by the Rabbanut. This is something very, very important. I see so many people do lots of different, conversions and different things. How long did it take? We're going to go for questions and answers. How long did it take me to convert? Everyone's path is completely different. So I want to say that, one person's journey is not another journey. I personally was on this journey for about 5 years. I started at a Reform synagogue in my hometown. I was learning and growing very, very slowly, took things on very slowly. As I kind of got a better base of Torah, I realized I wanted more observance and I wanted, more. I ended up completing a conservative conversion. About, I want to say 3 years ago now, I completed a conservative conversion. And then about a year and a half ago, I completed my Orthodox conversion. Something very, very important is I did not complete my Orthodox conversion until I lived in a Jewish community and I knew I could wholeheartedly take on all of the mitzvahs. It's a very, very big deal. And, Judaism is not like most other religions where you practice when you want and you kind of come and go. This is a definite lifestyle change. And the second you become Jewish, else you are obligated in all of the mitzvahs, 613 in the Old Testament. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that you're ready, that you take your time, and that your Rav believes that you're ready to go to take that step. So I personally moved into an amazing community. I moved into the Phoenix community. There's an amazing Sephardi Bukhari community there that loved me and welcomed me, and were such an amazing part of my journey and learning Torah and learning how to kosher my kitchen and how to cook and how to do all of these things as a Jewish woman. So I some of you guys are watching from Phoenix. I love you guys. I miss you guys. It's an amazing, amazing community. If anyone is looking for a community to begin and grow in the United States, I absolutely, absolutely recommend it. Hadassah's asking me, do I know what rabbis you have to get sign off on your paperwork for the move? Okay, so for the Jewish Agency, and again, I do not work for the Jewish Agency or Aliyah, but I will answer these questions to the best of my ability. So the requirements for making Aliyah and moving to Israel require a couple things. Number one, you have to live in a Jewish community for a minimum of a year. You have to wait at least a year after your conversion. You have to have a letter from the Rav that converted you and did your classes. You have to have a letter from your community rabbi stating that you're active in the community and you go to shul and you're a part of the community and that you're, an active part of the Jewish community. So it takes a minimum of a year after you've converted to be able to make Aliyah and move to Eretz Yisrael as an Aliyah, to make as an Oleh, to be able to come. So very, very important that we make sure that we take these steps properly. We move into the community that we're going to stay in. We grow. We complete conversion. We learn all of the basics. We go through that process. We become a part of that community. It is not possible, guys. I cannot stress this enough. It is not possible to be Jewish and not live in a Jewish community. There are very, very few amazing tzaddiks in the world that are able to do so for, the sake of doing something temporarily. But as Jews, the Torah was given to us as a people, and we live it out as a people, and so it requires you to be in a Jewish community. So whatever that looks like, it has to happen. I personally stayed in Noahide, and I did not convert until I was able to commit to living in a Jewish community, and I'm really grateful for that, because when I got to a Jewish community, I really realized how little I actually was observing. I thought I was keeping Shabbat, I thought I was doing a lot of things, and it wasn't until I was in the homes of Jews that live it and have the history and were raised in this that I actually realized how much I didn't know. So it was a very humbling experience for me once moving into the community, and there were so many people that were instrumental and helpful along the way and took me into their home and their kitchens and taught me, and just very, very grateful for that whole experience. I saw Elisheva on there. Thank you, Elisheva. You were a huge part of that for me. And so I just want to make sure everyone's clear that, this journey is not the same for everyone. Some people, conversion can take a year. Some people can take 5 years. It just really, really is when you're ready and when you understand the obligation and you're ready to take on all 613 mitzvahs. Hadassah, very good question. So yeah, you have to get your community rabbi and your rabbi that converted you to write letters on their official letterhead, and then that needs to be sent into Nefesh B'Nefesh before you're able to make Aliyah. So this is something important to know. So couple things why I think personally Israel is the best decision I've ever made in my life is that there is no more materialism. There is just Jews together, people who love Torah, people who are learning. There's all-day women's learning classes that we go to once a week, and we're able to sit and learn. And everyone around us is looking to elevate themselves spiritually. And it's such a beautiful and amazing feeling to be surrounded by people that think like you and believe like you and are just wanting to grow spiritually. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's such a holy place. Everywhere we go, there is like history and history and history. I was up in the north and going around to different places, and here's the cave of Shem, Noach's son's cave that he taught Avram Avinu and Yaakov Avinu Torah in, and here's this cave, and I can walk in and I can see it with my own eyes, and the graves of all of these amazing tzaddiks all around me, and a history. There's so much amazing archaeology, and the city of David in Yerushalayim and the Kotel. I mean, I can't even explain everything. It's been a little bit of overload as I've adjusted. So there have been things that have been overwhelming. Obviously the language. I'm not fluent in Hebrew as I became religious and converted later in life, and so I am having to learn Hebrew at 36 years old. So that's definitely an adjustment. all of our nice things that we're so used to in America is not. So we unexpectedly made Aliyah, and so we each left with one duffel bag and a carry-on. So literally my family completely started over with absolutely nothing, and Hashem has provided all the way. I have a house full of furniture, I have a kitchen full of dishes, I have everything I need, and Hashem has provided. And the people have been amazing in this community. They've helped, and people gave us beds, and I can't even explain to you the amazingness of this. And so I want to encourage anybody that is considering, moving to Eretz Israel, wanting a different thing. I know for me, as I saw my kids interacting and running and playing, and kids are cussing, and kids are playing video games, and there was just all this stuff in America. There's so much stuff coming at our children. And when I got here, my first visit, when I first visited Israel, that was the one thing that stuck out to me, is the purity that I saw in the kids in Israel, because they're not exposed to a lot of the junk. Not all of them. There's people with TVs and video games, don't get me wrong, but as a community, as a whole, my children's school, we had to sign an agreement that my kids aren't playing video games. They're not having access to all of these things. So, so the next person, Barbara, hello, amazing video. If I decide to visit, is there any family willing to have non-converts if we want to experience? Absolutely. There are always host families that are willing to host people when they come in, and and allow people to experience Israel. Definitely reach out to me. If I can't personally help you, we can find people for you. There's always people that are willing to host and allow people to experience Judaism. As a Noahide, you are absolutely a part and included in Hashem's plan and Hashem's people. So that's a misconception often because of other religions. A lot of religions are like, if you're not this religion, then you're not anything. And that's absolutely not the way Judaism feels. We believe that everyone has a spiritual path and a purpose, whether they're a Jew or a non-Jew. It's about being a good person. It's about, working together to make the planet a better place. And so that's definitely open for people that are not Jewish to visit and, and experience the amazingness of Israel. And so, yeah, lots of changes. I've had to learn to speak Hebrew very quickly. Kids are adjusting very, very well. They are loving school. We're immediately immersed in a full Hebrew school with no English speaking, and they're both doing amazing. They've got activities that they go to, and they've made friends, and it's been an incredible experience, and the communities are very, very welcoming. A lot of communities have tons of Americans, so there's lots of American kids. So I'll give you an example. It was my son's birthday shortly after we got here, and I was a little bit concerned because he hadn't made really friends, and it was his birthday, and in America, birthdays are a really big deal. So I put out on social media into the private town that I live in, and I said, hey everybody, I've got a little boy who's turning 8, Motzei Shabbat, I'm gonna have cake and ice cream if any of the local boys can show up. And my house was full of little boys that celebrated my son's birthday, and they brought them gifts, and it was absolutely amazing. And so I can't speak high enough of Israel. This is Eretz Israel. This is Hashem's land. And it's not perfect. I'm not going to say that everything is perfect, and I'm not going to say that I can find my favorite shampoo and my favorite lipstick or, things like that. There's definitely things that are different. The food here is fresh, and the food is amazing. You go down to a farmer's market and you buy everything fresh. There's not a lot of processed, you pick up fresh bread from a bakery every day. It's just a very, very different lifestyle. We walk everywhere we go. All these different things. And so I can't express enough how absolutely amazing it has been, and the honor that it is that Hashem has given me, the merit to be able to live in the land and to be able to perform mitzvahs here. And I don't know, as I'm sitting outside of Israel, and I'm seeing, on Facebook and on the news, all of these anti-Semitic things that are happening, and I'm seeing the colleges in America shifting, and I'm seeing Europe, I'm seeing all of these things, and I can't help but say, come home, everybody come home. I know it's easier said than done, but I really, really want to encourage, Israel is home. This is the land that Hashem promised to us, and it is holy and it is sacred. And I really, really encourage, anybody that is tired of the rat race, tired of trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to constantly, pay the bills. Like, we can do that in Israel, guys. And it's such an amazing thing. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, you're going to starve. You're not going to have any food. It's hard to eat there. Nobody can make money. Hashem decides what parnasa we get every year. And so it's really an emunah thing. And I know that in our minds, we want to like think and calculate and plan. But the reality is Hashem decides what we get and Hashem decides what we don't get. And that's not going to change, depending on where we are. So I really want to encourage everyone. And, if you are feeling that desire to come to Israel, to make this your home, that you make that jump, you try it out. It hasn't been, everything's not easy. It took me like 3 weeks to learn how to get my electricity out of my house, and pay bills. And, there's lots of things that are overwhelming as someone who's not a Hebrew speaker, but Israel is amazing and it's holy, and there's so much to be done here, and there's so, we need more people here that love Torah, that love Hashem, that are seeking truth, that are willing to kind of pull off the comforts of America. I kind of compare it to when we were all talking about Mitzrayim, and we were talking the other day at our Shabbat table about Mitzrayim and leaving Mitzrayim, and it took 40 years for people to get the concept of we want to go back to Mitzrayim out of their head. And I think that's the same thing that we're seeing now as Jews are coming home, as we are, figuring out how to make this work. It's so, so, so important to realize that we've got to get that like Western concept that, everything's easy, everything's nice, America's amazing, and really start focusing on the spiritual and focusing on what really, really matters. And that's our children's spirituality, our spirituality. My husband here is so much more connected spiritually. He's learning in Kollel full time, and there's so much here. There's so much to learn. There's, here we have an entire women's learning Beis Midrash that I go to once a week, and it's a full day of learning, and then we ended it by going down to the kevers of the Tzaddikim, and it's just such, I can't even explain how amazing of an experience it is living here. And, to all of the naysayers, I always say that they're the spies coming back with a bad report, and it's not true. Yes, there's negatives. Yes, yes, it's different. I walk everywhere I go. I've lost 20 pounds just because I walk everywhere I go. I guess that's a positive, not a negative. It's just a different life. It's a slower life. It's a more simple life. It's a time where I'm able to be present with my children and cook with them every night and spend time with them, and they run and they play outside with other children. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I had a couple questions. Like I said, you have to wait at least a year after you have after you've converted, if you are a convert and you want to move. And so I just hope that you are able to, sorry, I'm just looking at some of the comments, that everyone is able to focus on what is important and what matters. And those are the decisions we need to make. We came here unexpectedly, and now we're here, and it is the best thing. And I can totally see Hashem's hand moving it and shifting and getting us here to be free of the physicality, to be free of the rat race, and just be able to, focus on Hashem, focusing on better ourselves, focus on mitzvahs, and not live the rat race. So I'm very, very happy here. If anyone has any more questions about making Aliyah, Nefesh B'Nefesh is absolutely amazing. They help people step by step. They provide, financial help, and there's grants, and they pick you up at the airport, and they drop you off. I mean, there's so much help for a Jew that wants to come home. The other amazing thing when I was talking about colleges is that right now, Israel is offering free education, free college education to any Jewish child. And so please do not put your child $60,000, $80,000 into debt in a U.S. college. Send them to Israel. They can get a free education as a Jew. There's so much to offer here. And I guess, it's the same concept. So I've shifted gears from working for others to working for myself and building my own practice and building, what I believe in. And that's high wellness and healing. And as I've done that, I've also realized there's so much as Jews that we're all building these empires everywhere else. But we need to build our empire in Eretz Yisrael. We need to work in our own land, the one that Hashem gave us, the one that He's promised to restore, and that's, I think, the biggest thing for me is shifting from building someone else's empire to building our own empire and just making that happen and growing. I should send my mom to Israel to live a healthy lifestyle and lose weight. She has been struggling for years. Absolutely, Daniel. I'm telling you, it's such a healthy life. There isn't there isn't a lot of junk food. I mean, there's good food. Don't get me wrong. There's amazing food. But what are we eating? We're eating hummus. We're eating freshly baked bread that doesn't have preservatives and grossness. We're eating fresh vegetables. Everything's from the farmer's market. It's such a different life. I can't even explain to you how amazing I feel. I am like a completely different person here. And Hashem has just really blessed us. And so for anyone that's like wanting this or itching to do this, like I don't see a downside of this, unless you're really, really attached to your American lifestyle and you want to spend $1,000 a Shabbat or whatever it is. I've seen so many people, and a lot of people were like, don't move, don't ever go to Israel, it's so hard here. And that's not the experience that I'm having. Yes, there were barriers. Yes, there are things like nothing goes smoothly, perfectly, but it has been so incredible to experience being here in Eretz Israel. So I really, really, really encourage everyone. Please, visit Israel. See if it's something that you want. See if it's, something that, you think it is. It's such a beautiful thing. The kids are doing amazing. They're happy. They're healthy. They're running. They've just blossomed so much. They're learning an additional language. It's just amazing. And so I just wanted to, kind of give an update. I know everybody's been like, hi, Terry. Everyone's been kind of asking, how are you doing? How's it going? So I figured I'd get on and I'd just do a video and explain how amazing it is. I love it. Just moving here in time for all of the holidays and being able to celebrate the Hagim here in Israel. It was such a beautiful and uplifting thing. And I can't express enough how absolutely amazing it is here and how different it is. And I just really want to encourage, any Jews that are really considering, should I leave America? Should I not? You're looking at your kids and they're struggling with being religious and there's all these outside influences. And I don't know, as I see it now, I'm like, this is the best decision ever when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to living a pure life, when it comes to living a healthy life, free of that like American craziness. And so I just encourage anybody that, anyone that wants to visit Israel, please message me. We can help you find people, hopefully to visit and to see and to experience. It's definitely a different life, but I'm so happy. My children are so happy. We're healthy, happy, we're active, we're, being able to see all of these amazing things. Who gets to get on a bus and go and visit the Kotel and the temple and walk through the city of David and visit the cave of the cave of Shem. And I mean, these are amazing things that nobody else you can't experience if you're not here. So I just encourage everybody to really just look at your life and figure out what's your path, what do you want, where are you headed. I know a couple of the people were, converts that were asking me, how do I feel? I feel amazing. I feel like I'm home. I've been warmly welcomed, and the community's been absolutely incredible in welcoming me and helping us. And people have come and gone with me to utility companies to help because I don't speak Hebrew. It's just been absolutely amazing, and it's something I strongly encourage for especially all religious Jews to look into and to consider life in the Holy Land, because this is the land that Hashem gave to the Jews, and this is this amazing, beautiful place that I'm so honored to be here. And so all the naysayers, all the people that said we couldn't do it, all the people that were, this is where Emunah comes in. This is where we know that Hashem is the one who pays the bills. Hashem is the one that provides. And so I've been able to actualize myself in such an amazing way since I've been here. I'm finally, I've been for years wanting to start my own practice and to be able to help people individually and work one-on-one with people. And I've always been so busy working 50 and 60 hours a week for other people that I've never really been able to do this. And so this is the first time in my life that I'm actually starting to work through these things and create the life that that I want, and being able to help people and be effective, and getting rid of the idea that we have to work for someone else, that we have to live for someone else, that we have to wait till everything is perfect. If you're waiting for Aliyah until everything is in line and you've got $1 million in the bank and your business is this, it's the wrong attitude. It's the Holy Land. It's precious. It's beautiful. And, you know, any of you that have visited here, hi, y'all. Anyone that's visited here absolutely knows how incredibly spiritual and beautiful it is. And we just have to place ourselves, you know, where we're seeking truth, where we're seeking spirituality, and being willing to like get out of our Mitzrayim mindset of constantly being, you know, confined by the physical, the rat race, the work. You know, I'm gonna work 50 hours a week. I'm gonna come home exhausted. I'm gonna eat an unhealthy meal, and I'm gonna go to bed. And on Shabbat, I'm gonna sleep half of Shabbat because I'm so exhausted. This is not a life. This is not the way Hashem, and you know, created us to live. We were created to thrive. We were created to, you know, be happy and live a purposeful life where we're using our gifts and our you know, our vessel. And so I just really encourage everyone to look into the option. You know, I know that I just saw a very big board of a lot of Rebbeim around the world have just publicly announced that they are going to be pushing for people to make Aliyah and to, you know, to leave diaspora and come home. We have a country that's ours. People don't hate us. They're not spitting on us. They're not mugging us. And it's such a amazing experience. And I just feel it's the place every Jew belongs. It's my own personal opinion. I'm no way a Zionist, but I believe that this land is so holy, and it is so important for people to understand their roots and to get back to truth and Torah and focus on what's actually important. And a lot of times, you know, that's exactly what happens in America. It's, you know, we go all the way back to the Maccabees when we're dealing with Rome. What were they doing? Sports and gymnasiums and this and that. And we get so wrapped up in soccer practice and karate and ballet and piano lessons and all of these things that we're never actually with our children. We're never present. We're never actually, you know, growing. When's the last time we sat down and learned Torah with our kids? When is the last time we talked about our heritage? When's the last time we talked about Torah? These things are so incredibly important. And I think that if anything, moving here has really shown me the importance of valuing truth, the importance of having people around us that have like minds, and just surrounding ourselves with the people that want to live, you know, that same level of spirituality. So I encourage everyone, please research Eretz Israel, you know, look into it. For those of you that are converts, I don't feel outside. I don't feel not accepted. I've been warmly welcomed by the community. I've made friends. I'm in the Beis Midrash. I'm learning Torah with, you know, amazing women that are just spiritually light years ahead of me and incredible. I've been able to start my own business, and I'm being successful with it and doing amazing. My husband's learning full time. It's an absolutely incredible life. It's a very different life, and it takes emunah, and it takes stepping outside of our comfort zone. Like I said, I came here we each had one bag and a carry-on, so that is life. And we have a full, beautiful home full of everything that we need. And so I just encourage everyone to kind of evaluate what's important. What am I waiting for? You know, if I'm waiting for that magic number in the bank account, if I'm, you know, who's in control? Hashem is in control. That bank account can be empty tomorrow. That bank account can have $1 million in it tomorrow, and that's all based on Hashem, not us. And when we remember that, we realize that we have a higher purpose than surviving and working a 50-hour-a-week job. I don't know if everyone else worked that, but I always worked, you know, 50 hours a week, you know, working, slaving for other people when we are supposed to have our own purpose, and we are supposed to help others and be present with our family, our children. You know, I can't tell you how amazing it feels to be home with my kids and be able to help people and work, you know, in between those things and just continually be able to be there. And when my son wants a sandwich, I'm able to cut the crust off and be present and be there, and I have the energy to do it. And that's such a different experience than what we were experiencing in America. So I just encourage everybody to, you know, find your own, dig deep, figure it out, and make the best decision for you. For me, Israel is the best decision we ever made as a family. I have zero regrets. I miss my friends and family, obviously. You know, hopefully I'll be able to visit and, you know, see everybody, or hopefully everyone shows up here and comes and becomes my neighbor. So I hope you all have a wonderful, it's morning, most of you in America, evening here in Eretz Israel. But if you have any questions about Aliyah, the process, you know, what was good, what was bad, what was hard, please let me know. Again, Daniela here. Have a wonderful day. Bye.